I just want to share one story for now as to how I had my mind changed about the Bible, about going to church, about prayer and meditation, and all of that stuff, okay? This is just one story. I've had many experiences, but this is just one story, okay? So I had just had about a year or two clean. I had my own apartment at this time. I had just got it, and I just kept reading the Bible and reading the Bible and reading the Bible. Now, this was something that I've done many times. However, this time is a little bit different. When I did this, it was because I had asked in prayer, like, God, show me what I need to see. I want to see truth. I want to see, and understand things the way that they truly are. Because there was just so many times that I've read certain parts of the Bible and it's just like, this just don't feel right. It doesn't sound good to me. It doesn't feel right to me. I just don't see God as being that type of God. Blah, 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 blah. So I would be guided to read the Bible, and I'd read the Bible, and certain things would just literally pop up out of the book at me and just resonate with me. And then I would get these flashes of why it was true, and this and that and blah, blah, blah. And then I would read the Bible and I get these things that would pop out, and it would just feel real yucky. And I would be learning about discernment of spirit and listening to that discernment of spirit, because that's the Spirit of God showing you what you should or shouldn't be doing, what you should or shouldn't be reading, and so on and so forth. And so when I would start seeing all of these falsities, I would learn even more about why it's false, why they put it in there. And then I would just start going down these rabbit holes, which took me to starting to have these supernatural experiences with Christ, where I had out-of-body experiences with him, where I learned about him going out into the forest and getting in deep connection through prayer and then meditation. And meditation is where you're sitting and waiting on the answers from God, okay? And Jesus would show me all of these supernatural experiences that had happened with him, and all of these crazy things that he went through while getting closer to God. And that's exactly the same type of experiences that I had. One of the experiences that I had was, I kept asking God, show me what I need to do to get rid of the pain. Not just the physical pain, but the pain of the trauma that I've carried all my life, from being molested by several family members, from having a child that died at the ages, when I was 16, I had a baby and she died. Losing all of these different family members and friends to deaths, and, all these funerals I had to go. I wanted to know how to get rid of that pain. I just kept hearing over and over and over again, meditate, do as I did, go out into the forest and seek God with all of your heart, go within. Now, at that time I was going to church, and I just kept feeling like, I still needed to go to church or what have you, which I'm glad that I did, because it taught me a whole lot. And I do believe that it has a place for everybody that goes there. There's a reason for it, and absolutely 100% love that people go to church. Don't get me wrong. However, it's just no longer for me. But one of the things that I learned as I was starting to meditate is my mind would race constantly. I was like, okay, God, this isn't for me. Meditation isn't for me. I've tried this before. The only thing that happens is my mind races, and I keep thinking about what's going on next week and what happened 20 years ago and this and that and blah, blah, blah. And I would hear, good, keep going. So for 16 to 18 hours a day while my mom was going through chemo and this and that, I would only stop meditating to let my dog out to use the bathroom, or if my mom needed help, or to go to an appointment. Literally, I took the time while she was going through all of her experiences with cancer to get closer to God through prayer, intention, and meditation. And what I mean by prayer, intention, and meditation is I would pray and set intentions and ask God to show me what I needed to see that day. Bring out some sort of awareness that I needed to see, and, what experiences do I need to experience, and so on and so forth. And then I would wait, and the meditation would come. And I got to this point where finally, after about 60 to 90 days, my mind finally shut down and was quiet. And I could hear the voice of God. I could hear the Holy Spirit. I could hear my higher self, which is now what I know to be just the aspects of God that is within me. I could hear all of these different things. I could see all these different insights into what I should be doing, what I could do differently, what things need to change, and so on and so forth. And one of the things was instead of going outside of myself and looking for a connection with God, the angels, all of that, go within and look for that. And when I started to do that by meditation, supernatural, crazy things started happening. Miracles started happening in my life. I started to learn how to heal my body and others. And, I just started having all these experiences with angels and beings of higher states of consciousness, like Christ Conciousness, or even beings that are just so highly evolved that I'm telling you guys, it would completely flip and blow your mind. And unless you had these kind of experiences, you wouldn't believe it or you wouldn't understand it. Okay. And so I just kept getting even more drawn into meditation and sitting in prayer and things of that sort. So I just kept doing it. And so much more kept being revealed to me about the universe and how it works and how the universe is really an internal thing and it's not outside of us. It's just a projection, just all of these different things. And so at one point in my journey, I was just guided, quit going to church. Don't allow yourself to be drawn into things that are not teaching you full truth of things. And not that I held anything against the church or I held anything against the people that was teaching me these things in the church, but I started to understand the truth of how it was holding me back from growing with God. And it was so freaking true. I quit going to church. I kept meditating. I kept going out in the woods and walking and doing these like walking meditations. And I started hugging trees as I was guided to. And I started sniffing the flowers as I was guided to, and healing and crazy freaking miracles happened. And I feel like I've gotten way off the subject of what I had intended on talking about anyway, but this is the way that I got out of the church, how I started seeing some truths about Jesus, about religions, about God, about how the God is within and not, as above, so below. That's referring to the higher self and the lower self, God and Satan. And then somewhere in between, there is the aspect of us that is willing to learn, willing to change, willing to do whatever it takes to get into that higher aspect, that God aspect, the I am presence, the part of us that knows all and is all and is capable of all. Okay. Anyhow, I feel like I've gotten off on a tangent, so I'm going to go ahead and let you guys go. Leave your experience, strength, and hope in the comments of how you got to learning some more truths that may have gotten you out of religious type of sectors or what have you. Much love to you. Bye.